Well, good morning, everybody. I hope that you are healthy and doing well on this fine Monday morning, our first day of virtual school. I feel like I should have my coffee cup in my hand. I should be standing out in the hallway, but sadly, I'm not. And I certainly do miss you guys, but I know that you guys will adjust well. You'll transition okay. So, before you get into the nitty gritty of our work this week, I just want to give you a little bit of a preview, a little bit of an encouragement, kind of an overview, right? It's our Monday briefing. Here's the roadmap for where we're going to go. So, this week, with everything going on with the coronavirus, we are going to take a look at the relationship between the federal government and the state governments. We talked about this back in the fall when we looked at gun laws and marijuana laws and how the federal government and state governments can have different sets of laws, each having sovereignty or power over those laws within their jurisdiction, their territory of power. So we're going to look at that again this week. However, we're going to change it to say, why are states able to make their own sorts of policies and rules and regulations when it comes to dealing with coronavirus? Shouldn't all the states do the same thing? Shouldn't the federal government be able to tell the states what to do? Why can states do this? So those are the bigger questions that we're going to tackle this week. Now, the way that we're going to do this, first, we're going to get a little bit of a refresher on federalism. By now, you've received the email notifications from Khan Academy for the assignments that I've given you this week. You should have already received last week the invitation to join the Khan Academy class. And we're going to use Khan Academy and some at-home instruction to make it a little easier for you to get some direct instruction in my absence. So you should have received those assignments. And there's a couple videos that I want you to watch, a couple things I want you to read. And then there's a couple questions that you need to answer to test and see if you get the big idea. Okay? So that's the first thing that you're going to do. Next, I'm going to post a question on Google Classroom. And I want you to log on to Google Classroom and simply answer the question. You could consider this our bell ringer. So I'm going to put a bell ringer type question up in the Google stream on Tuesday. I want you to log in. I want you to answer it. It's an opinion-based question, and I can't wait to read them. And I will probably reply to all of you with some sort of feedback about your question or asking another question in relationship to your answer. On Wednesday, I'm going to launch a second part of the assignment. And this second part of the assignment is going to have you read what a couple states are doing in relationship to coronavirus. And I want you to answer some questions in response to those articles. Again, a lot of this is going to be a mix of what your opinion is about states having the power to do their own thing and what the Constitution says about states having their power to do their own thing. You may find that your opinion and the Constitution align. You may not, and that's okay. But we need to understand both. So that's our goal this week. On Friday, you need to have the Khan Academy work done. You need to have the bell ringer question answered. And you need to have the couple questions about the news articles that I'm going to post answered as well. And those will be in a Google Doc. And that's it for the week, folks. So I think you are getting off pretty light, but I certainly hope that you give it some really good thought. Now, just to give you a primer about federalism. Federalism is like cake. It's like a layered cake. Like this layered cake right here. And there are 3 layers to this cake. You have your federal government, your state government, and your local government. And of course, the local government is the smallest because they have the least amount of power and the smallest jurisdiction. Now, what we see in this layer cake are 3 distinct levels. So if you think about these like powers, federal government has their own set of powers, state and local governments also have their own set of powers. And for much of U.S. history, the powers in these different levels of government was distinctly separate, like this cake. But over time, the powers begin to mix and they begin to get intertwined, and powers from the local government and state government might mix, and powers from the federal government and the state government might mix, like taxes, right? Taxes come from all levels of government, and we love paying taxes. So taxes is one of those powers that just mixes. And then we, the American people, we just got to eat those powers. That's right. Breakfast cake. Miss you guys. Have a good week.